Today, inshallah, we are going to go through a very interesting session. طيب ممتاز جدا. Because I need you guys. طيب before we start, I want everyone log in with his ID and name because last session I could not take two names attendance. They log in only with names. I can't know you guys. You should log in using your name and ID. I have stated this many times. طيب لأني أنا أسحب البيانات الحضور من القاعة بعد المحاضرة، فالحضور مهم وضروري وعليه درجات. المشاركة في الLMS مهمة وضرورية وعليها درجات. So you should log in with your name and ID. Today, inshallah, we are going to go through a very interesting session, which is chapter 7. And then, inshallah, we are going to go through revision from the book and PowerPoint slide. You should study. You should, guys, study from the book and also from the slide. Some of you stated that they are studying from the slide or from the book. So you need to prepare for your quizzes and your assessment in general. طيب, today inshallah we're going to go through organization, teamwork and organizational culture, which is a very important component for nowadays businesses. We will also highlight culture's definition, an important concept in nowadays organization. And then we're going to go through structure, how we're going to differentiate between different structure of organization. We will compare and contrast some of well-known examples of organizational structure. And then we are going to go through, inshallah, different groups and teams which existed in organization. Yasmin, just to check your PC. Sometimes, students, they do have inappropriate PCs. So Yasmin, just to check your settings PC, because sometimes it doesn't work. So organizational culture, which is related to any firm's values or beliefs, traditions, philosophies, rules, and role models. It is very important nowadays to pay attention to your organizational culture. We will go through يعني different examples in organizational cultures, which is related to some philosophies. Okay. Now, and as we are going to check it up, as I have stated last week, and as many times, please pay attention. Today we are going to go through chapter 7, and then we are going to revise. So it is related to those types of formal organizational culture, such as the mission statement or code of ethics, sometimes the memos and manuals, or ceremonies. Those which is related to the informal ones, like this code, or work habit. Think of those يعني who are working in banks. Many students, they have reported that they don't يعني have to wear شماغ as a formal dress. So this is part of the bank culture, because they are believing that we should have totally different perspective of employees who are basically working in the bank. So they are having totally different يعني behaviors. طيب, those which is basically related to attitudes and behaviors of organizations members who are shared values, observing common rules, or sometimes sharing problem solving, which is all related to those type of your organizational members. Okay. So we can think of the structure, which is a totally different from culture. The structure, which is related to mainly يعني the hierarchies, we are going to link it to the hierarchies, which is going to link the members into sometimes we do have those which are very long, and sometimes we do those which is يعني short. And what is the point? What is يعني the goal or objective? To link all those who are working in the organization together with special hierarchy. So those who are going to work in the structures يعني like managers على سبيل المثال, going to assign work and tasks into different employees. And those which is basically related to coordination, okay? Which is related to those يعني types of And then we have also in the same يعني vein the organizational chart. Okay. Which is very important, guys. Very important one. Because it's going to give you a visual display of organizational structure with different lines of authorities. Staff, permanent committees, and line of communication. Yes, indeed, Modi. So it is very important to link it between different types of employees. Here we have an examples of يعني a structure for يعني we can call it as a small maybe company. Indeed, Ashraf, well done. This is يعني a small company, as we can see. We have here the owner has يعني phase 1, and then he started to hire more employees. So he assigned a sales personnel and the merchandise buyer relationship. Then we have shifted to a bigger يعني company. يعني well, no, يعني it's not that big one, but as you can see, the sales manager here, who is basically now has a supervisor. And an accountant, who is basically again have another employees. What do you think, guys, of organizational chart of STC? Very big, Ashraf. I totally agree. طيب, what do you think of عبد اللطيف جميل company? عبد اللطيف جميل company organizational chart. Dana, yes, I agree. It has good reputation, but now we are يعني talking about organizational chart, like Ashraf. Company with a great, okay. Very complex, Salim. Yes, you have stated good point, as you usually do, Salim. Very good. It is complex and big, but the question is why? Why it's يعني big and complex? Okay, career ladder list. Okay, number 1, Zainab, you are right. Many activities. 2, Too much product department. Well done, Ashraf, again. 3, many employees. Thank you, Noor. Tasks are many, Adam. Good services. No, it can be, but it's not يعني direct relevant. طيب, think of guys a food truck business. What do you think of the chart of food truck business? A small chart, Anas. It will be like this. We will be here for the food truck. Very simple, very small, because we have the owner here, and maybe we have one guy who is doing the burger and sauces if the food truck يعني operates in food, and maybe we have one customer service. That's it. Simple. So it is a very important. So the question is, guys, يعني why we should have this chart? What is the point of having organizational chart? And as owner to customer, maybe sometimes, yes. But what is the point? What do you think if you يعني have someone who said, what is the importance of having organizational chart? Or let's just imagine this question, guys. You have graduated from Arab Open University and you have a job interview, and the interviewer stated, okay, what do you think of organizational chart? We need you to help us after hiring you. So Anas to organize. Organize what, Anas? Dana to organize data. Ashraf to create a workflow of organization and deliver results. This one is fine, making sense. Zainab Al-Ajmi to have a clear vision of a progress. Okay. Abrar to display again. Okay. Adam to organize work. Definitely. This is يعني, the most important point of organizational chart. Shifa. Organize data again. Muhammad. Okay. Zainab to know to refer each one in every situation. It is a very important point. I totally agree. Yes. Anas organize work, and okay, that's fine and good too. Business need partners. Okay. Well done, guys. Excellent. You are just doing excellent, guys, as you usually do. This is the point of having organizational chart. So we need, we know basically each one what his basically duties. So we know that who are in the sales, what is basically their jobs. We know those who are in accounting department, what they are usually do. And we know that who are in merchandise department, what they basically do. So it is linked to each one in order to operate in it. A very important point of having the chart, which is related to specialization. Everyone should know what he's going to do. So we know those who are accounting, what they are going to do. We know those who are marketing, what they are going to do. We are knowing يعني, those who are in finance, in operation, in business, and you can يعني, link it to a very huge, wide differences of hierarchies. Why we should have specialized? Why we should give يعني everyone his duties? Number one, we need to be efficient. Number two, everyone not going to waste time doing other jobs. So it's focused. Number three, very important, it's related to training. And number four, basically, it's going to be linked to activities for each one. The problems, if we are going to go more in specialized, sometimes we may have job dissatisfaction, unhappy employee. Sometimes employees get bored. Or unfortunately sometimes we do have poor quality of work, يعني rubbish. Increase sometimes employee turnover. Department which is related to grouping jobs according to units, having all members in one similar department. So we do have those who are working in finance in one group. We do have those who are working in marketing in one group. Unfortunately, some companies imagine guys that they are hiring يعني like someone who is specialized in accounting in marketing. This is a great mistake. Or I remember one of you guys last semester, he graduated, I think he is in system, and he said, I have got a job in IT. Because sometimes companies or human resources managers, they mistake basically what is the most suitable candidate. نقطة مهمة جدا، يعني هذه لازم أوضحها بالعربي. يعني في كثير للأسف يتوظف في غير التخصص اللي هو عمل عليه. For that reason, we need to pay attention to departmentalization. So what is the point of studying business? Or what is the point of studying accounting? What is the point of studying IT? What is the point of studying يعني, your major? You have spent 4 years in, for example, in marketing. What do you think of the case of Salim, guys? He is doing marketing and he is working in sales or operations. Anas, okay. Ashraf, sometimes okay. This is wrong. طيب. Functional modes, as its name indicate, which is related to those which is related to groups of similar activity like finance, manufacturing, marketing, or purchases, or human resources. Okay, which is a well-known يعني structure. This one you can find it in most of nowadays company. Think of Rajhi Bank or Al Habib Hospital or uh, any organization which is medium sometimes or big ones. They do have those type of functional department. Product one, which as its name indicates, it's related to grouping employees according to the products. So we are going to link it to each product that the companies produce. The geographic ones, which as its name indicate, يعني it's related mainly to geographical point, like Abdul Latif Jamil, for example. Abdul Latif Jamil having department for Jeddah, sales for Jeddah, and sales in Riyadh, and sales in Dammam, sales in Al Jof, sales, and I remember in Najran or Jazan. So those department which is linked to geography. Sometimes we do have bigger companies like Nike. Nike, they do have يعني sales for Middle East, for Far East, for Europe, for United States, and also in United States they do have division. So we are talking about يعني very huge companies, very huge. Customers ads, again, link it to the names. It will be easy to understand, guys. Those which is related to assigning jobs to the needs of various customer demand. So we do have those which is related to B2C and those which is related to B2B. So in this case, we are going to link it according to demand of our consumers. Nothing important to explain here. Line structures, which is related to a very simple one. Direct of authorities extended it to the top to the lower one. Think of the super store market, which is related to the owners, managers. Then we are going sometimes to assistant. Big organization, they may do have helpers for their employees, and then we're going to have as the final those who are working, yani normal employees, those who are working full-time, part-time. Nowadays, now most of companies applied distant working. Employees, they can working from outside for certain limits. And this is, as we have stated, it is related to small companies. You can apply it on a food truck also. It can be, if it's even a small truck, it should be bigger size. Because mainly in food truck, we do have 1 or 2 employees. So it is a very small one. But you can apply it on a supermarket where you do have like 4 to 5 employees maybe. So in this case, you do have more space for having a line structure. So at line, because it is almost in a line, so it is linked to a very limited employees. You cannot extend it. There is no big signs for it. Oh, that is very big question, Anas. Anas is asking how companies going to select the structure. Basically, it is related to a very huge factors. It is related to the nature of the product, services, number of consumers, number of employees, number of activities, number of operations, number of branches. So you can stay almost 1 day talking about how companies doing these structures. In order to link it to your question, Ashraf, think of just companies like Abdulatif Jameel, or think of companies like STC. STC working in KSA. They are working in, I think, in Indonesia, in Bahrain, in Kuwait. What else? I think so think of companies like STC, or think like a company like Rajhi Bank. Rajhi Bank, they do have one branch in KSA, and they do have one branch in Jordan, and they do have one branch in Malaysia. So all these companies, they are going to link it to the nature of their structure. Line and staff, which is related to, again, traditional lines, having it to general supervisors or coordinators, because sometimes it's maybe linked to the coordinator himself. Focusing on the point here is to make it easy to focus on expertise of operation in certain business, and then they are going to give the staff managers a provision advice to support those who are in the line. Here we have a very visual picture which states how we are going to link the staff and the line. So we do have those who are basically in immediate relationship, and then we may have those who are basically have it into direct, sometimes direct relationship. So we are going to have those, and also here we can divide it into different levels of management. This is the very good thing about management. We are going to link it to different levels. Those who are in the line, then they are going to link it to those who are in the lower level in order to distribute tasks and duties. So it's going to be easy for making a communication between every employee in the company. Very interesting thing in management. Sometimes we do have a multi-division structures in the same organization or in the same department due to its size. We are talking here about a department with 50 employees, a very big company, a very huge department. And also in the same time, we do have a very big number of clients, of consumers. For that reason, we are having that number of employees. I remember Rajhi Bank, they have more than 10,000 employees only in KSA. So imagine that number of employees, a huge number of employees, 10,000, 10K. So they need a very precise visual structure in order to link it to each one. So it is a structure which is related to organizing department into large groups, as I have stated, because they do have large number of employees, into divisions. Those occur in organization which is going to grow from the large and more diversified. Those can be formed as a basis, as we have stated earlier. We can link it to different hierarchies, different tasks, different duties. So we may have those who are responsible for consumers, for product divisions, geography, or other divisions, finance, accounting, whatever is the reason. So in this case, in order to make it easy to avoid any mistakes or repetitive problems which may happen from employees. The matrix one, we should have visual again for it. It is related mainly to dividing employees into teams from different departments in order to create more interest in line authorities, like having project management structure. Most of companies nowadays, they do have it under business. I remember once I did a training session for employees in Saudi Investment Bank. What is interesting, and also it's not only in Saudi Investment Bank, it is mainly in private sectors. They do have a unit, they call it a business unit. This unit has one employee from finance, one employee from accounting, one employee from marketing, one employee from consumers, and one employee from I forget the name of, I remember there are 5. And the point here, every one of those employees representing their department. What is the point? What is the aim? The aim is to start generating the ideas of a new product. So let's just think of investment bank. They want to release a mobile banking app. So this unit responsible for having it from zero to implementation. So they create a forecast on how we are going to launch it, where we are going to launch it, what feature we are going to put on it, how competitors do in mobile banking apps, who is basically going to use it. The point here is excellent. Why? Because they are going to save the time of other departments. So imagine if we are going to send a proposal for finance managers, then they are going to send it to the accounting, then they are going to send it to the operation, then they may reply or they may delay. So there will be a huge delay. In order to think of that Ashraf, we can call it a business unit committee, maybe. It's depend on the companies itself. Business unit may be popular in private sector. And also I remember one in, Marami company. Are you familiar, guys, with Marami? What do you think of Marami? Yes, indeed, they are chips. Also, I remember I have or I did training session for their employees. They do have similar. They call. I think they call it a business, but it is. It has a huge number because Marami they deliver products to GCC countries. They deliver to United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, I think Jordan, Oman. So they do have big one. A very important thing about business, guys, business or major study, if you are not practicing it, it may be very hard for you to understand. But after implementation, it will be totally different. you are going to increase your knowledge. Okay, so let's just go back to structures. Okay, here we have it as a very visual one where we are going to link it to different hierarchies and different departments. So we do have those who are in the top, and we do have those who are basically going to join the project in a way or another. That means they may cross. So we do have in project A على سبيل المثال those who are going to be in the functional, definitely in managers, every single one. That means all these projects we are going to have each functional department in order to link it and continue working and processing its individual. Sometimes those who are working in one project with one functional department, so it depends on the company how they are going to divide that certain management duties, because we are talking sometimes about huge companies. Think of a BG, they have thousands of products, and imagine every product needs following up, needs improvement, sometimes needs reducing, cuts of date. So all these are related to divisions where they are going to run, they manage. And sometimes they do have small ones. So in this case, they not necessarily to have it in a small division. Groups and team, we are not going to stay here long because it is easy, and maybe you guys work in teams or in groups who are going to make the difference between the two, because sometimes they are mistakenly and interchangeably used in a way or another. We can, here is the good statement which says that all teams are groups, but not all groups are teams. Okay, so we need to think of this perspective from a management perspective. So groups, the point here in groups mainly, we don't have anything with the teams. The teams, they are fine. Groups can be divided maybe in a two or more individuals who is going to communicate with another or share common identity with common goal. A team, it is going to be smaller ones, smaller groups, who is member going to have different skills, have common purpose, certain goals or approaches to mutually be accounted. Those who are going to work in groups has a very strong, clear, focused leaders, while those who are going to work in team have certain leadership rules. Those who are going to be in a working groups have different individual accountability and responsibilities, and in teams they do have individual or certain groups accountability. Those who are in working group have certain broader organizational mission, and while those who are going to work in team have very diverse. Those who are going to create work products and those who are going to work collective ones. Those who usually are linked to certain behaviors and missions in teams, and while those who are going to have it in totally different perspectives in groups. We need to here to have highlight the point of leadership, guys. As its name indicates, it's very important to have very good leader in because they are making different. and sometimes those who are going to make discussion, delegates, and having real work as a groups or together. The committees, which is a very common, well-known formal group in most of organization. Tasks, forces, okay. Teams, nothing important here to explain. Okay, so let's just have your revision now, guys. I will now go through revision, guys, and I am expecting you covered some chapters. What is, guys, the chapters included in the quiz? Thank you, guys. The quiz will be, inshallah, in June 22nd. We are going to announce the link and the time in the upcoming days. Now we are going to go through a very interesting revision. But the most important thing, guys, you should study. Revision is about testing your knowledge. So, can anyone, guys, remind us of what is management? Yes, Yasmin. To manage your work. طيب عشان يعني you need to be in the picture. Imagine that this question has 15 marks. طيب, what is the answer that you are going to provide me to convince me give you 14 out of 15? Imagine that we do have a question, what is management? And it has 15 marks. Okay, well done, Zainab. But still, this one is يعني very short. This one is very short, guys. Abrar, it is indeed related to the efficient and effective. طيب, good. Okay. Excellent. I need detail. وبالمناسبة هذه بوضحها بالعربي. الجامعة، لأنكم أنتم أول مرة تأخذون مادة في التخصصية، الجامعة تنتهج المنهج البريطاني which is related to written assessment، وهو يعتمد على الكتابة بقدر كبير جدا. يعني في الامتحانات إن شاء الله الفصل القادم الأمور راح ترجع لوضعها الطبيعي، بيكون عندكم امتحان نصفي وامتحان نهائي. فتry to improve your writing skill in order to write as much as you can. الوضع السنة القادمة بيكون إن شاء الله طبيعي، والأمور إن شاء الله تكون في وضعها الطبيعي. لذلك في الامتحانات تحتاج تكتب يعني بأكبر قدر ممكن عشان تحصل على الدرجة. الأسئلة بتكون يعني أنا الآن جالس أدربكم عليها، فبالتالي تحتاج تعمل على كتابة بأكبر قدر ممكن عشان تضمن درجات عالية، تضمن نجاح، تضمن معدل كويس، تضمن درجات كويسة. طيب let's just go back to guys chapter 1 and anyone can remember or can define what is economic system. Can anyone remind us? What is economic system? If you revise chapter 1, most of answers is fine. Now we have shifted to chapter 1. Now we are revising data description of how distributed resources. Okay, good, good. Zainab, system production of what? It's not clear. I didn't get your point. Also the same with Ibrahim. What are these? You should define them in order to know what are these economic schools. Excellent, guys. Now let's just highlight okay, having if you can remember if you can remember individual rights in setting up a business. Here the slide, guys, which we have studies, if you can remember, before 2 weeks in chapter 1, which is the right to have a property, the right to have profit, the right to use them, the right to determine business operations, the right to choose which one is going to pursue, the right to where you are going to live and where you are going to locate business, the right to have good services and purchase for them. So all these are important, guys. These are in chapter 1. And guys, if you have opened your book in let's just check the page. Think of a very important, guys. If you visit table 1.1 in page number 10 in your ebook, you are going to find a very important table which explains the difference between different business schools. It is a very important one to have it in today economic, because until now we do have those who are applying certain economic system in schools. How we usually, guys, how we usually measure countries' economy. Still in chapter 1, guys. We are still in chapter 1. Same big companies. Imagine this question has 20 marks. How we do measure countries' economy, 20 marks. Who can remember what we have studied in chapter 1? No, guys. No. You are totally think of those which is related to who mentioned the supply and demand economic. Shahad. Okay. Okay. No, you are totally far, Muhammad. Totally far. طيب. We are still in so it's very important to عودة. You are correct. You have spot 1. GDB 1. Okay. It is very easy if you check your the answer, guys, in page 19 in your ebook. Here is the answer. We are still, guys, in chapter 1. And I can see that some of you, they did not revise properly. It is clear and simple. Just give me the answer. Just يعني, tell me what is in your table 1.3 page 19 in your book. That's it. Simple as this. Let's just continue on chapter 1. And we are going to go through another subject which is related to, if you can remember, the competition. Anyone can remind us? Imagine this question has 25 marks. What answer you are going to write to have 25 marks? Okay, Shahad. Correct. What next? Okay, Shahad. Ashraf, well done. Okay, so now you have listed them. You're going to have 5 marks. What is definition? Define them. العنود, what is monopoly? Shahad, define oligopoly. العنود, what is monopolistic? Ashraf, what is pure competition? Pure competition, many small businesses selling one standard product. What else, guys? We are still, guys, in chapter 1. Uh-huh. If you can remember, guys, we have stated here, where is the slide of okay, here, guys, the slide of competition that we have covered in week 1. I just want you guys to write as this slide. If you are going to write me this slide, you are going to have full mark, because it is important to have it in detail. So the pure competition, if you can remember, in chapter 1, it's related to that market structures, which has a huge number of small businesses and selling one standard product. And those which are related to the monopolistic fewer businesses, and those which is related to oligopoly, monopoly. So all these we have covered in week 1. Here is the last slide of economic expansion and contraction. Can anyone remind what is the difference between the two? Economic contraction, economic expansion. Can anyone remind us of chapter 1, guys? We are still in chapter 1. Expansion when there is an increase. Minor occurs when growing people spending. Okay. Okay. So all these are, guys, revision for chapter 1. Guys, have you visited your ebook? Please, I want to know your answers. Have you studied from your ebook, guys? Okay, good. Now, Judy, you should stay more time on it. Okay, imagine, guys, this question. We are still revising chapter 1. Can anyone remind us of what basically natural resources of a country? Can anyone remind us of what is natural resources? Imagine you do have this question in your assessment and has 15 mark. What basically answers you are going to provide? And remember, we are still in chapter 1, guys. العنود, we are talking about natural resources. Pay attention. Don't lose grades. Bender, thank you. Thank you, Shifa. We are talking about natural resources. نقطة مهمة, يعني you need to pay attention to the question before you answer it. It is very important. Okay. So by this, guys, we have covered chapter 1. Now we are going to the chapter 2, which we had in week number 2. Who can remind us, guys, of what we had in chapter 2? Okay, good. Can anyone define ethics? Yes, organization, ethics, no. Moral behavior, no. I want a detailed one regarding ethics. Principles, what basically they are. If you can, let me go back to the slide of ethic, which we have stated earlier in details. Not following. Okay, no. Okay, here we have the CSR activity. Just here, we have covered it in slide number 4. Just think of it here, guys, which is related to principles, standards that going to determine an acceptable behavior. It is very important to link it to behaviors which should be accepted. Who is if you can remember, guys, who is going to determine which is going to be accepted and which is not? Uh, who is going to determine customers? But sometimes you do have issues with your consumers. The organization, definitely, Muhammad. The organization, they are going to determine sometimes competitors, owners. Okay. What is basically social responsibility? Social responsibility, guys. Here we have stated social responsibilities in detail. Okay, Minar. Aude, Muhammad, building schools. That's fine. That sounds fine. Okay. What else we have covered in can you guys remember what is bullying? Can anyone remind? We have stated it from week 1, Abdul Qadir. We are now in week 3. We are not going to repeat everything in every session. It's counted under the homework. The 50 we have stated participation, attendance. Can anyone remind us of bullying, guys? Bullying, we have stated the bribery, okay. Misuse of time, company's time. Okay, here is bullying, which is a purely intermediating behavior. Okay. Zainab Albany Act. Okay, good. Good, Zainab Al-Ajmi. Bullying, which in front of you guys, employees harassment, Ashraf, which is intimidating, not good behavior. You may have a question explaining bullying, give detailed examples of it, and what's the impact of it on employees. Okay, good. So what else we have? Action also is important. Action associated with bullying is important. spreading rumors to damage others, blocking other communication, flaunting status, using email to demean others, what else, using terminologies, discrimination, eye contact, okay, taking credit of other, okay. طيب, what else we have covered in chapter 2? Plagiarism. Can anyone remind us, guys, of plagiarism? Plagiarized. Plagiarism, guys. Thank you, Abdullah. It is indeed a theft. It's taking others' idea, others' work. Okay. The penalty, guys, we usually apply in Arab Open University is just giving 0 for those who committed plagiarized. Okay. We have what else? What is the code of ethics? Questions that, okay, what is basically, guys, the code of ethics? Formalized rules, standards that it's going to describe what companies expect from its employees. Okay, so we have covered chapter 2. Moving now to chapter 4. What we had, guys, in chapter 4? Okay, it's related to how you are going to organize your business. What is the definition, guys, of a small business? Can anyone remind us of small business? Let's just go back to chapter 4. Okay. individual business, Shafiq, Basim, 2 or 3 employees, Manar, 2, carrying on, co-owners of a business. Okay. What's basically here is a small business or the only one person who is usually running a business. It is related to those businesses which has only one owner with achieving a common business operations. Again, we have stated that this slide is mainly related to United States companies. We may have totally different in our country. Advantages. What is the good and bad about small business? Having a small business. Advantages, ease and cost of formation. What else? Manar, yes. Flexibility, you are right. Shahad, easy to conduct. Zainab, limited resource, okay. Is a disadvantage, not again, because we are in advantage. Shifa, this is the good, having one profit to one owner. Ashraf, owners keeps profit, okay. Taxes paid at once, Yasmin. Easy to control. Okay, that's fine, guys. Now let's just highlight the bad side. Bad side of having a small business. Okay. Limited liabilities. طيب أشرف أوكي. منار. Success is tied to the owner. Lack of qualified. Good guys. Good, so this is mainly what we have covered in chapter 4. For chapter 5, we have went through again into small businesses, franchise, and entrepreneurs. So what is a franchise, guys? Franchise. Okay, Manar, creating, managing business to achieve desired objective, to sell a franchise, the license, okay. Okay. طيب منار طيب اوكي أشرف طيب It can be both. It can be. And then we have highlighted forms. How we are going to start a small business. What basically the main steps that we will use to start up the business. These are examples. These are examples, and chapter 6, which we have covered last week or last Sunday. It was related to employees' employment, which is related to, again, employees' vision of the ability to take responsibilities and making decisions about certain jobs. By this we should have reached last point in this slide. So as before we leave, guys, as I have stated, inshallah next Monday you are going to have your first quiz. It's going to be online. We are going to update you with a link. Just follow it on LMS. 4 steps. The most important thing is that to study from the book and from the slide, guys, as I have always trying to remind you. And next week we are going to start next session as we usually do on Sunday. From me, wish you best of luck. and we're going inshallah to meet again next week. From me, good luck.